Good morning. I am Hazel Bowman, and it is my absolute joy to be the practitioner of the day for this Sunday service. This pre-service meditation is finding your way home. Finding your way home. I invite you to get comfortable in your chair. Close your eyes so that you will not become distracted. Take a couple of deep breaths. And begin to relax your body. Bring your attention to deeper within, to the center of your being. For all those extraordinary things the human being is capable of is the capacity for a profound connection to an intelligence that is deep in love. We have the capacity feeling of awe, and wonder, appreciation, these are the things that make you feel absolutely inspired by things that are transcendent. Our time here is as a sojourn. It's to come and see and be and delight. Focus your consciousness on that connection. Consciousness is profound. The connection is deep. Sit in this moment, opening, expanding, there is a light behind your life that you can see. Rest and allow this divine power to pour through you as if there is no boundary to your skin. You are clear, and the divine is shining through you and touching this world. Almost if you are a pane of glass or a clear vessel. Rest in this state. This is your way home. when you are ready, still feeling this flow of light, begin to bring your attention back to the outer world. All the intelligence that makes life beautiful is contained in love. Each day is a fresh beginning. Every day is the world made new. And so it is. Namaste.
He hated it because I'd be like, Wisniewski. He's like, you're saying it wrong. Huh? Yeah, I stopped eating my big friends years ago. So here it is. Here's what I was planning to do. And you, if you know the album, that album is a masterpiece. But it's check the album. It's called Lead and Normal.
Good morning. My name is Jim, and I'm part of the leadership team here at Centers for Spiritual Living Prescott. I want to welcome everyone that's both here in the sanctuary and those of you viewing us online. Yesterday, a beautiful celebration of life was held for our Alvin Wisniewski. Not only was Alvin a great part of this center, but as I learned through hearing the people speak, he was a great part of the whole community in terms of his volunteerism and everything that he had to offer as an individual. It was a wonderful service, and we all know how much Alvin will be missed. Speaking of serving the community, we have numerous volunteer opportunities available here at the center. Everything from hospitality to the bookstore, to greeters, to just maybe looking around and finding something that interests you. We're creating new circles all the time that will have other opportunities available. So hopefully you can find your niche here at the center and participate.
So that you will not become distracted. As I know right now that we are basking in that presence of by whatever name you give it, whether it be God or Allah or Jehovah or Buddha or Jesus or the great I am or Father, Mother, whatever it is itself. It is love, it is joy, it is peace, it is harmony. And because it has created all that there is, that means that we are of it. And we are imbued with these qualities that are within us, that express through us. For we are the embodiment of divine life itself. And so I know that this service, already being filled with spirit, with that divine life energy, I know that absolutely everything is unfolding perfectly. That everyone here has been divinely guided to hear the message of our beloved Swami, that which they are seeking is also seeking them. And I know, therefore, that everyone behind the scenes, whether it be in our sound booth, whether it be from our music, whether it be Bob during signing, whether it be in our children, whether our bookstore, I know and affirm it is all the divine activity of God. And since it is all God, I know it's absolutely pure love. And all is love. And so in that love, we open this service with great gratitude, knowing all is good, all is well. And I release that into that heart of God that claims, yes, oh yes, it's true. And we anchor it together by saying, and so it is.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, Jackson.
Hey, hey, hey. Wait a minute. Hey, Clay? Am I on this thing or what? I said, am I on this thing or what? I guess I'll take that as a yes, but if you could turn me up in the wedge, that would be great. Well, this is a light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, and I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel. I'm gonna let it shine. You hide it under a bushel. I'm gonna let it shine. Light of love. We're gonna let it shine. Light of love. All the jazz hands are in the house. I said, let it shine.
Well, good morning, everybody. That was lively. My name is Grace McManus, and I'm one of the licensed practitioners at the Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm very happy to see everybody here. And we welcome any new visitors that we have, and know that we are a center that believes in providing spiritual tools that you can use every day in your life. And wherever you have been and whatever you have done, self-judgments you have made about yourself, you're entirely welcome here today. And you don't have to do this alone, because we have a group of licensed professional practitioners of the science of mind who come every week to help us with prayer. And we offer something we call a 3-minute miracle, which you can have at the end of the service. And in back of your chairs, unless you're in the front row, there's a little pink form. No, it's lavender, I think. And you can fill out one of those forms, either place it in the prayer box outside or stay for a moment here to speak with me or one of the other practitioners. So we also believe that there are many paths to God, and that we do a service called the candlelighting ceremony, and I'd like to invite the candlelighters up to help me. And with the we're going to read a few little phrases about the there are so many different religions, by the way, but we have singled out a few of them to emphasize that there is truth in many paths. So the Center for Spiritual Living honors all faith traditions, and as we light a candle for the world's religions, it is to acknowledge both our multiplicity and our unity.
We light a candle for Christianity based on the teachings of Jesus the Christ, who taught the path of love, forgiveness, healing by the presence within.
For Islam, the practice of submitting to the will of God as revealed to his prophets, peace be upon them, who taught that there is one God, creator of the heavens and the earth.
For Judaism, a community of shared laws, traditions, and family ties, which began with the covenant between Abraham and God.
For Buddhism, the middle path that ends suffering and awakens mindfulness and compassion.
For Hinduism, the path of knowledge, action, and devotion.
For the Native American traditions and those who walk the good red road, including the people of the sun we know as the Yavapai.
For Baha'i, the path of unity and peace.
For the goddess traditions, embracing the divine feminine as maiden, mother, and crone.
And for the science of mind, which is a philosophy of life that teaches that there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it.
Thank you, Hazel. And thank you to our candlelighters. So right now we shall repeat an affirmation that we say to remember what our purpose is here. So you can read it on the screen, I believe. And it says, we are here for God. Our purpose is to express the nature of God as love, abundance, and joy in everything we do. The good we seek for ourselves is what we desire for all people everywhere. And so it is. And now we will play a little meditation music.
Feel free to join in. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there is release. From a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments, and I hear the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there is relief of a big world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious words, and I hear all that could never be said. And right here in this holy silence, I find God. I find myself. I find God. I find myself.
In the silence. In this silence, breathe in the beauty of each moment, this moment of life. And I invite you to close your eyes now so that you will not be distracted. Consciously or not, you are breathing the breath of God. So in these moments, take these words as your own. As I move, breathe, and have my being, I sense my oneness with the breath of life. As I live in the atmosphere of conscious awareness, I am the expression of God, breathing in the beauty of the moment, being one in the flow of the now, shining the light of God, of good, and of love. I am here to be the union of spirit and reality. I am here to breathe life and hope into everything I see. I am here to breathe peace and joy in all that I do. I am here to breathe the spirit that is within me, thereby being here to breathe God. In this consciousness, I open and receive the spirit of life as my source. Now, for the next few moments in this silence, let us receive. At this time, I see and I am the light of God. And so it is. Namaste.
The light of our soloist shines brightly as well. Her commute, I'm not good with math, but I'm guessing it's 1,500 or so miles to get here? 30 hours. Well, it depends how fast you were driving, really. I remember these problems from 5th grade. Anyway, from Washington State, but really we always say she's from Prescott, no matter where she is currently residing. But she drove down for Alvin's service yesterday, and you just gotta love how the universe works so incredibly well. All is unfolding as it should. Only good can come of this. I did have a soloist just not even a week ago, I think it was, say, hey, I'm really sorry, but I can't make it this Sunday. And Celia's like, I'm driving down from Washington. I said, well, guess what? So it's always good to remember what seems to be bad luck might actually be good luck. So we get Celia today, everybody.
Thank you, Jackson. So, and thanks to Alvin, I normally don't bring the looping gear, but because of his requests, we'll be looping today. So that's another happy accident. This is called Please Bless This Space, and if you haven't seen me loop before, what I'm doing is I'm recording a track, I'm playing it back, and then I record on top of that, and then I play that back, and then I record on top of that and play that back. So everything you're about to hear is happening live and in real time. Let's bless the space. Please bless the space, the sanctuary, please give us peace and protection. We are willing to be nourished with love. Blessed be please bless the space, the sanctuary, peace and protection. We are willing to please bless the space, the sanctuary. Please bless the space.
Thank you so much. Meeting, holding the mic. Resides at life. He was here for in our own supporting the path to our own immortal divine self, and having experienced the grace of inner peace, having surrendered to God and lived with and been guided by the great saints in the Himalayas, and he's also traveled the United States for 5 years on foot, similar to what the Peace Pilgrim did, and later in his small RV. And now he is asked to attend a desert oasis called the Divine Grace Ashram. This ashram is also simple. Its mission is the same as he's been given since he came back to the United States in 2013 and began a walking pilgrimage across the country. Peace is the mission, and peace is the prize. And it can be known with peace is within and can be known without only when it is known within. So it's my pleasure to have the Swami speak to us today. Thank you.
Namaste. So beautiful. So, thank you, Grace. I don't suppose I chose anything. That's the only thing. The discussion this morning, we said pilgrimage home, journey to the heart. The heart is the center of our being. We're all journeying, we're all looking for something, and it turns out that we discover it's really who we are that we're looking for. This beautiful quote that you had shared this morning about, we find that what we are seeking is seeking us. And I'll let you in on a little secret, and that is that this home that we're looking for, we're already there. We're already there. The difficulty that we have is simply that we imagine that we're someplace else. And it's this, imagining that we're someplace else, imagining that we are this body or in this world or this place separate from spirit, separate from our loved ones, like this. And so the work that we do here really is related to this. In a way, it's not a positive thing. Of course, it's very positive, my God. But it's not an attainment of something. It's not an attainment of something. We've all heard of the Buddha, yes? So You know, the Buddha, after his 7 years under the Bodhi tree, walking down the road, glowing, absolutely glowing, someone met him and said, "Who are you? Are you a god? Are you from some other world, some other plane?" And he kept saying, "No, no, no." And finally, the Buddha said this. He just said, "I'm awake. I'm awake." He was asked, "What did you gain from that 7 years? What did you gain from that 7 years of meditation?" And he said, "Nothing, absolutely nothing. I'll just tell you what I lost. I lost fear, anger, hatred, greed, delusion," like this. So really what we're involved in here is an unveiling what's here as opposed to adding something. And yet it seems like we're adding something. You know, we learned that there are two movements here. There are two directions going on at exactly the same time. There is the movement out and then the movement back. You've heard of the term yoga. I think everybody here has heard of the term yoga. Yes, by now. How many have heard of boga? Anyone? Okay, come on. A few from the ashram, no. Okay. Boga, the term boga means union with objects, with sense objects. Yoga means, who'd like to say? Yoga means union with? Spirit, with one's own highest self. If we can imagine for a moment our situation, you know, it feels like we are separate. It feels like we're alone. It feels like we're incomplete. Who was it? Grace, I believe, this morning, who shared the meaning of the word perfect. And she asked from Latin if anyone knew Latin. And Hazel spoke up and said, "Yes, I took Latin for 4 years in school." And Grace said, "I learned the meaning of the word perfect. It doesn't mean what we think it means. It doesn't mean that everything is in order. It means that it's whole, complete in this way. And yet, it seems as if we are incomplete. Does it? It seems as if we're incomplete. It seems as if we need something in order to be complete. And so we seek trying to find something to complete us. And so in truth, there's nothing wrong with anybody here that's seeking, because we find ourselves to be incomplete. It seems that we are incomplete. It feels that I need something. And my God, the list goes on forever, doesn't it? Each of us, we have our own list, but if we come together and compare our lists, let's see, we have money, power, getting away from it all. We have cars. Swami was poster child for that. We have women, men, husband, wife, partner. We have job. We have, oh my God, and then there are the politicians. And then the people who argue about the different religions. And each of us, when we look, we see, if we look at our common denominator, we find that everybody just wants to be happy. Everybody just wants to be loved. Yes? That's a common denominator. It's true for everyone. My God, even, the botanists in these days, science has discovered so much about this mystery of life. The botanists have discovered that the plants, the grass, the trees, all of these plants, that they're all also living, breathing, thinking beings. That they also communicate with each other. And the groves of trees, for example, are communicating with each other, and between the grass and the other plants and And the trees, they're sharing, they're communicating, and they're sharing with each other what's required in order to support a healthy ecosystem. It's amazing, this life, it's amazing. And for what purpose? Happiness, wholeness, fullness. Everything here is a movement towards happiness. Every single thing. That's all anyone wants, is to be happy. And it seems as if we are not. It seems as if we need something in order to be happy. And this seeming, by the way, there's a Sanskrit word for this. How many have heard of Maya? A few. Maya. Also, by the way, a great power of the one, of the great divine. There's a feeling of being separate, a feeling of being incomplete. And yet, you know what we discover? The feeling is a false flag. We have in the news right now, false flag operation. Everybody's talking about like this. It's a false flag. The feeling is actually incorrect. It's a great mystery how it is. And yet we discover that peace that we seek outside is actually where? The joy that we seek outside is where? The fullness that we seek outside is here. God that we seek outside, here. The kingdom. You know, and so many names for this home, this place of home. Jesus calls it the kingdom. And of course, in the Buddhist tradition, we hear the term emptiness and nibbana, the being in the place, nibbana. Fullness. Fullness. So there is this movement out and then the movement in. The movement out, this term boga, is when we're seeking what's really inside, outside. And we all go through this. And so honest to God, when we look through this world, if we can understand this point, if we can understand that we all go through it, and every one of us, depending upon our own identification, our own mental process, how this mind works, will each have a different idea of what it is that will complete. So one person says it's the teaching of Christ. Another person says it's this. Another person says it's money. Another person says it's a car. Another person says it's a partner. But if you ask why, and what I discovered in my life is I'd actually forgotten why I was interested in these things. One day I realized, wait a second, all I ever wanted was to be happy. I realized that I had forgotten that for so long. And so I was going through the motions. I had this success, that success. I hired this person. I fired this person. I won this contract. We established a new office somewhere in the world, whatever it was. See, it was the list that I had. I got a new car. I was motivated to get a new wife. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Thank God we stopped before that. So... But the list, and the list was so active in the process of going after what was on the list, so exciting, and also disappointing, of course, in all of this, that I'd completely forgotten why it was that I was even doing something. Until one day, wait a second, all I wanted was to be happy, and what grace that was, because then I could evaluate, will this do it? And realize I didn't have a chance. This each of us experience as well, which is the movement from an outer focus to an inner focus. And it will happen naturally. It does happen naturally. Darwin was onto something with evolution. And this is really the evolution of each of us as soul. Somehow, as soul, we've gotten ourselves caught up here, or spirit, and imagining that this would do it or this would do it. And we experience, and we learn it doesn't. How many husbands, how many wives, how much money? You know, for the one who has money, I can speak to this. Because I would say it was never enough, but other people would look and say, oh my God, he has so much. He's so successful. But it was never enough. It's said in the Vedas that in pursuit of this path, the pleasant and avoidance of pain, the material, trying to find that happiness in the pleasures, it's said that even being king of the universe won't do it. Even being king of the universe. And yet we feel this pull towards more and more, or less and less, you know. If I could just get away from everyone, if I could be free of all of the problems, if I could be free of the people that are making my life a horror, then I'd be fine. That's an idea too. It's the same. Pleasure, pain, they go together. So neither avoiding something nor bringing something to us fills us. And when we realize this, and by the way, this is what this boga is. You could say bogus too, I suppose. and so it's the movement out. And this is where we say, oh my God, forgive everyone for everything that they do. Please, for God's sakes. Forgive everyone everything. Forgive yourself everything. Anything you've ever done simply came from love. You just had some artificial lines drawn around yourself, imagining I'm here and you're there. And self-love means I love this and you're not myself. But you see, we come to discover when we go inside that, but we are one. But we are one. We are the same spirit, manifest or expressing in countless forms in a perfect world, which is full and complete. Every single idea, every single belief, every single action, it's here. Every single one. That's what perfection looks like. We laughed and said, yeah, okay, it's a perfect world then, because it's full. It's full of everything. And by the way, if it's not full of something, just wait a little while. The word Brahman, which is the word for the highest in Sanskrit, actually translates to the infinite and ever expanding. So, and when we look out, this is what we see. We see a world that's full and getting bigger. You know, the universe that continues to expand. We see in our own mind desires, when we start with one desire and then we fulfill it and that doesn't do it and we go to a next. It's like the tree, the infinite tree, the tree of life. It expands out. Boga. Yoga is this turning around of the process, and this is the coming home. And this is what we honor. Honestly, we honor both. We honor both. We have to honor both. Because this is a natural flow of spirit as well. Spirit goes out and spirit comes in. Spirit is full. Spirit is complete. Spirit is who we are. And we're in this movement, this symphony, this orchestrated movement. And we go out and we come back within. And when we go out, it gets very scary, very fearsome place. There seems to be so much wrong. There seem to be so many bad people and so many terrible things happening. And fear rises and anger comes and hatred comes along and the intellect starts to get involved in judgment. But that's when we go out. When we start coming back within, we begin to find unity, love, peace, sanctity, holiness, sacred, and it's actually out as well. It's just that we've gotten so wrapped up we forgot. The great master Swami Shivananda, he says that this human birth, this human experience, and let's face it, we hear it, but this is the truth. We are spirit having a human experience. Mm-hmm. People say, I'm just human, and I have to say very lovingly, I'm sorry, please forgive me, but you're not. You're not just anything. For God's sakes, you're spirit. You're one with the Creator. When Jesus says, I and the Father are one, he doesn't just mean him as a little self. He means the I and the Father are one. The I, do you have an I? The I and the Father are one. And so Swami Shivananda talks about this human experience in this way. He says that in this human experience, in this human birth, we access will, dynamic will, thought, and action. They're called in Sanskrit Icha, Jnana, Kriya. Icha is will, a feeling, a longing. Can you relate to that? Do each of us have a longing? Either, by the way, we'll find ourselves to have a longing out or a longing in. Nothing wrong. But a longing. And that longing is born of the feeling of being separate. And then, have you ever noticed that it feels like you need something and you sit around and think about what you need? Have you ever had that happen? Huh? And so it starts in the heart, as it were, as a longing, born of this feeling of being separate. And then where does it go? Right up to this mind. So it moves from Icha to Jnana, the thinking, what do I need? And by the way, planning, plotting, how will I get it? And then what? Kriya, action. Action. I act in order to get it. I will grasp it, I will take it, I will pretend in order to get it, whatever I do, and then I act. So in this human experience, that's what we have. When we're caught up in the boga, then everything's about little me, self-centered, and I'm out to get. You know, I came to get me some, and I'm now going to get what I deserve or what I need or such. Again, please forgive yourself. Please forgive everyone for this. It's just a movement of love, but it's love in the company of delusion. When we take ourselves to be this limited being, that's all. So forgive everyone, please, for God's sakes. This message, constant. Start with forgiving yourself and then forgive everyone else for everything. Because anything that we call bad is born of this. It's born of love in the company of delusion. That's it. That's it. And so in this place of feeling I am little, I am separate, I am this person, then we go after the things and the experiences in order to complete. But what will naturally happen? We'll naturally discover it won't do it. Is it so? Yeah, and this is our evolution, and my goodness, every single person here is evolving. Oh my Lord, there's no one that's not evolving, because we can't help but learn. We learn through suffering, but we learn. We learn and we move forward. And so anyone you don't like does something, they're learning. Let's help them learn. And what do we learn? We learn that those objects and those experiences, they don't do it after all. And we hit a depression. Every one of us hits a depression. My God, how many of us consider suicide? It's 100%. For goodness sakes, it's not just me, it's not just you. It's 100%. Everybody thinks about it at some point, and this is that tipping point where we're starting to recognize, I can't find it out there. Maybe I can't get it out there. And so some point we'll ask, or we'll hear, a deep voice, resonant voice will come inside of us, and it was there all along, but we hadn't heard it. And it will say, seek ye within. And then you ask, can I have help to do it? And what happens? A peace center springs up. And lo and behold, help to do it. Yes? In yoga, we speak of 4 great yogas, which are really one. They're all having to do with this same, which is now it becomes practical. Okay, so how do I do it? We can't do it unless we're ready to do it. And being ready to do it will happen by itself. But once you have the urge, you can speed up the process. That's good news. You can really get there. Once that urge becomes strong and you fan the flames of that, I'm going to go inside now. I'm going to find the spirit inside. This resonates and I'm going to do it. So these urges And these are the 4 paths as well. And these 4 paths, yoga is just a Sanskrit term. Every tradition has these same paths. The will, I will for something to complete, and now I will to come within, to God, to the kingdom, to myself, capital S self. And that's called emotion to devotion, bhakti yoga, which is when the will becomes to come into the unity of all, to unite with love, and to offer love. And this is the path of devotion. The thought, oh my God, so many thoughts, so 2 yogas for the thoughts. First yoga is the yoga of meditation called Raja Yoga, or Royal Path meditation. We practice meditation in all the traditions. We always have. Jesus, for goodness sakes, with his disciples, they were practicing meditation. The breath, he's talking about the breath of God. Yeah, focus on the breath. Recognize that the breath is God's breath. So if we go back, we're going to see an enlightened yoga instructor with his students. Yoga is just a Sanskrit term. So meditate. Meditate upon the spirit, which is at your own core, on the peace at your center. Meditate. So that path, which does what? It stills the mind. Be still and know that I am God. It stills the mind, and it allows us to see what's here. Next, jnana yoga, or gnosis in Greek. Study of who am I really. It's neti, which is I'm not this, I'm not that. In other words, it's not that hard to see that we're not the body. But we have to have eyes to see. And so we engage in spiritual practice to help us to actually look, and we allow ourselves to let go of all the notions that we've held, and we're just held back by our notions, by our beliefs, by our desires. There's nothing real that's holding us back. It's in a way our own selves, but don't beat yourself up. Recognize. So jnana yoga is the self-inquiry. Who am I? We start with the question of who am I? Who are you? I mean, intellectually, at some level, you know it already. I'm spirit. I'm not this body. You know, we can go deeper and we can actually see it to be the reality. And the light pervade, the intuitive sort of mental complexion does. And then finally, hands. What to do with the hands? What to do with the hands is to serve all. So we say, love all, serve all. So this is it. This is the way back. We're all on it. The encouraging part from here is simply that by taking resolve, deeper resolve, by recognizing it, by strengthening your commitment to your spiritual path, by taking it as a more important endeavor perhaps than we might have by bringing it into every day, every moment, then we speed up the process. May we all find the home that is in the heart. May we all find the blessing that we are. May we all be a blessing for all here. God bless us, everyone. Thank you so much. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Swami, and I'm hoping that you have enjoyed his talk as much as I have. And now it's really our time to sing our song, I Let the Love Wash Over Me. So if you would stand, please.
Wash over
Thank you, Jackson. Thank you, everybody. You may be seated. So today, at this moment, it is our time of giving. Remember that giving is part of that spirit. And we don't pass the basket anymore, but there is a box, a brand new box actually, out in the sanctuary, and it is marked offering. And if you want to, you can drop your donation in that box. If not, you prefer, you can donate online to www.cslprescott.org/give. And there's also a number. It's 844-917-1240. So right now I'm going to ask you to place your hand on your heart or over your love offering as we say this affirmation together. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, life. Happy to have Celia perform for us again. Thank you.
Thank you. Quick request, if you want to connect with me and you're not staying for the concert, please come do that right away because I have a lot of things to do to go transfer. But I'll be at the CD table shortly after the service. Thank you. Cause I'm bringing in the lights, bringing in the darkness for too long. I'm bringing in the lights, I'm bringing in the light, burning with the sun. It's the love I give that turns to happiness. Bringing in the joy, bringing in the light, bringing in the bliss. Cause I'm bringing in the lights, I'm bringing in the light, burning with the sun. It's the love I give that turns to happiness. Bringing in the joy, bringing in the it's the love I give that turns to happiness. Bringing joy. I'm dropping the worry, I'm dropping the shame, I'm dropping the guilt, I'm dropping the blame, I'm dropping the walls, I'm dropping the windows, dropping the doors. I'm dropping the and fight. I'm dropping the roof, I'm dropping the porch, I'm dropping the floors. Cause I'm bringing in the light. It's the love I give, turns to happiness. Bringing in the joy, bringing in the light, bringing in the bliss. I'm dropping the plan, I'm dropping the plot, I'm dropping the twist me up in knots. Dropping the past, prevailing over what's in store. I'm dropping the scarcity of enough. I'm dropping that constellated stuff. I'm dropping the points, I'm dropping the game, I'm dropping the score. I'm bringing the it's the love I give that turns to happiness. Bringing in the joy, bringing in the light, bringing in the bliss. And everything's gonna be fine as I let my heart's light shine. Cause I'm bringing in the light, bringing in the darkness for too long. Bringing in the light, bringing in the light, burn away the soul. It's the love I give, turns to happiness. Bringing in the joy, bringing in the light, bringing in the bliss. Cause I'm bringing in the light. It's the love I give. Bringing in the bliss. Cause I'm bringing in the joy, bringing in the light, bringing in the bliss. Yeah, bringing in light, bring it in the light, bring it in the yes, yeah, I'm bringing in the yes.
Thank you so much, Celia. It's such a pleasure, always. So, right now it's our time to invite anybody who might be here for the first time. If you would like to, you can stand and then just give us your name and where you're from. And we don't ask you, we don't beg you or nudge you, but we would like to know who you are. So if you would, please stand and introduce yourself. Or if you've come back after having been absent for a while, please do that also. Yes? Jacqueline? I'm from Brazil. Okay. Yeah, benvenuto. Thank you. Thank you. Yes? Thank you. Yes?
I'm Nancy. We live here in Prescott, and we drive by all the time and say, we should go check that out.
Yeah, well, we're glad you came. And Mark, thank you. Yes? You came with some friends? Oh, from the Swami. Okay. Anyone else? Yes?
My name is Emma. I'm from all over. I was born in Los Angeles, but I go to school at Prescott College. I've been there for a year and a half. So.
Welcome, Emma. Yes?
My name is Alvin Wisniewski, and I've lived Prescott for 22 years. I've been here before, but it's been quite a while.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Yes.
And I also came from, I also come from Yuma. There's a beautiful center, spiritual center in Yuma, and I'm just so grateful to be here.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Anybody else we missed? Yes?
Hi, I'm Scott Stewart. We just moved to the area, and I'm girl sharing here. And I was with CSL in the Seattle area years ago, before everything else. And then we moved to this beautiful area, and so.
Okay, welcome. Okay, I think we got just about everybody. Darcy, do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Darcy Blevins, and this is my first time here.
Thank you, Darcy. Darcy's in my yoga classes, so I know her from there. So now it's our time to invite the children. Oh, one more thing I forgot. If you are new to the center or have not been here, we do give you a little welcome package and a free book from our used book section. So please ask the people over there in the little book corner, and they'll give you a book. Okay. So it's our time right now to invite our children in and ask what they have learned for today.
Who wants to share first? You want to share first? Mike's on.
Hi.
You are you going to tell them about that?
I'm holding a bag of rocks. I think you have to hold it all day.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
Well, what were we talking about? Holding a grudge?
Holding a grudge.
Do you want to really do that?
Do you want to really do
Do
that?
you want to do that?
Maybe.
Okay. Let's see what Tiffany thinks.
We learned that the bag of rocks is really heavy, just like a grudge, and you don't want to hold it all day because you want to go and play and eat food, and it's hard to do that when you're holding a bag of rocks.
And so what do we need to do?
We need forgiveness.
Does Netta want to say something?
Do you want to say anything?
And we read a book about how we should forgive people.
Did you want to add anything else? Or you ready? Okay. They got it.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you, children, very much. Thank you. So we'll say our benediction now, if you would, is on the screen. So you may stand if you wish. Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is happening through my mind, my body, and my affairs. I think it, I believe it, I feel it, I know it, I accept it. Thank you, life.